surprisingly, these were one of my favorite Kobe's to hoop in. What's up guys, Vinny here with Secret Tweaker and welcome to Mamba Mondays. Today's performance review is on the Nike Kobe 10. Now, like I said, this was actually one of my favorite Kobe's to hoop in. A lot of that was because this was actually one of my very first Kobe's that I got, and I absolutely love these things. I know a lot of people kind of were disappointed in the 10s, especially after honestly, like the 4s, 5s, and the 6s. Even the 8s and the 9s, the 10s were kind of a disappointment to them just because there was all this consistency in performance. And that's not to say that the 10s were bad performers by any means. Clearly, they were one of my favorite hoop shoes, but after the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, 7s again were kind of a disappointment to a lot of people, and then the 8s and the 9s with the drop in midsole. The 7s also had the drop in midsole. 10s were kind of went off track because it got rid of the drop in midsole with the 10s. I mean, they came back with it again in the 11s, but with the 10s they kind of got rid of it and it just went back to standard tech. Now the 10s, like I said, were one of my favorites. It was one of my first Kobe's, so I hooped in these a lot, and this is this is the only colorway I have the 10s. I don't have any of the elite models or anything like that. I wanted to get them, I tried to get them, I probably am still going to try and get them and play in those and review those as well, but this is a standard Nike Kobe 10. Now this shoe I put through the ringer. I played in these so much that you can actually see a lot of wear and tear on the upper. You can see a lot of wear and tear just everywhere in the shoe. But enough of me blabbering, let's actually get into the performance aspects of the shoe. As always, let's start it off with the traction. Now the Nike Kobe 10 features a multi-directional traction pattern. Traction pattern on this is honestly just nubs going throughout the whole shoe from toe to heel, and then you do have the Mamba shield on the pivot point of the shoe, and then you have the Kobe or the 10 logo, the X, on the heel. This part, the heel, isn't necessarily part of the traction, whereas the Mamba shield is. This is just more of the logo on there, but the traction on this actually performed really well for me. Now when I hooped in these, I used to go to our local 24-hour fitness, which is no longer 24-hour fitness, it's an EOS Fitness, and that gym had been around for a while. Their courts were old, their courts were dirty. It was literally never taken care of. It was probably one of the dirtiest courts I've ever played on, but I played on those courts more than I've played on any other courts in my life. I mean, I went to that gym for well over a decade and they never really took care of the floors. However, that's where I hooped the most, and that's where I've played in probably most of my Kobe's. This one in particular, I've played there a lot, and you guys can see the traction has worn down quite a bit, especially on my right shoe, which I'm a righty and I go to my right a lot, and you can see the wear and tear and just the nubs gone on my right shoe. The traction, like I said, held up for me really nicely. It just wasn't the most durable even indoors, so this is a shoe that if you were to have or to get, I mean, this is something that I don't know how available it is nowadays. I'm sure you can still get them on the resale market, but because it's a Kobe, they're going to be way marked up in price from resellers, and with that durability, I wouldn't say it's the best shoe to take outdoors. Dust collection, it wasn't too much of an issue. Whatever dust did collect, it was easy to wipe off, and you do get a little bit of a squeak from this. You're gonna have to excuse me, I don't really remember just how much. I just remember it was a little bit squeaky. It did have a decent squeak to it, so you do get that feedback if you like it, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's a crazy amount like the Kobe 9 or something like that. Cushion on this is kind of where they went away from like the previous 2-3 models. This one, as I mentioned before, is a regular cushion setup. It's not a drop in midsole. And for the cushion, you have a large volume zoom unit in the heel and then a lunar long carrier. Now, some people have said that they don't really feel the zoom unit in the heel. For me, I actually felt it. I actually got a decent amount, actually a really good amount of compression from the heel. And it's probably one of the most comfortable shoes that I've ever worn. I absolutely, honestly love the cushion setup. Most of the time, I actually don't like just a heel zoom unit. I prefer forefoot zoom unit as opposed to the heel zoom unit, but in this setup, for some reason, I really liked it. You do also get a great amount of court feel, and then the impact protection on this was sufficient enough for me. I wouldn't say it was absolutely amazing, like let's say a full-length drop-in zoom midsole like the Nike Kobe 11, but for what it is and what type of shoe it is, being a guard shoe, you do get a decent amount of impact protection. Now, for the fit, this is the only Kobe that I have that I actually went up half the size, and that's because because I walked into Foot Locker and I asked them for Kobe's. I wanted the 10s and they told me, I'm pretty sure I got upsold at this time because I really didn't, I guess I wouldn't say I really didn't do too much of my own research and look into shoes as much as I do now. But I asked the Foot Locker employee and he said, hey, I would say go up half a size. And that's because, well, prior to that, they had told me they didn't have size 9 in stock. So I'm pretty sure they just wanted to sell me something on the spot. I don't know if back then they could have ordered online from in store, but I'm pretty sure the guy just wanted to get a sale. So I went up half a size. I still wish to this day that I had gotten a true to size one, but I went up half a size, and even going up half a size, this worked out for me. I didn't really have any painful process as far as breaking in these shoes, and a lot of that is probably because I went up half a size, but I'd rather have that process a little bit and just have more of a one-to-one fit where the toe box didn't have so much space between my toes and the tip of the shoe. Again, this shoe, most likely, I would say go true to size. I do have room in the toe box from my toes to the tip of the shoe. And again, I wish I did go true to size, but at the time I was impatient, wanted to get my Kobe's. So I was just like, you know what, just give it to me. And then I also, unfortunately, got sold on some insoles over there too. But again, that's just a story for another time. As for the materials and support, the Kobe 10s feature a full mesh upper, and you do also have these fuse overlays just going around the whole shoe. On top of that, you do also have a nice outrigger in the forefoot area. So as far as balance and stability, you do have a nice wide base. And this, I guess it pretty much kind of is a heel counter. You do have this suede-like material as a heel counter. It's pretty thick, it's pretty sturdy. As for the design, you have the Mamba shield on the right shoe, and then you do have the stitches from his Achilles surgery on the left shoe. That's something that I did with a lot of his shoes after his Achilles surgery, and I think it's a cool design aspect. The tongue in itself is a pretty puffy tongue as well. Again, it feels like a suede material, but it does have some perforations or the snakeskin design going just the top portion of it. Breathability was great in it. I didn't have any issues with overheating, and then the tongue relieving lace pressure did a really good job. Overall, the Kobe 10s were one of my favorite Kobe's to hoop in. I absolutely love these things. I would say maybe a lot of it does have to do with the fact that it was one of my very first Kobe's, but I did also have a lot of great experiences on court with these. Every aspect of the shoe did well for me. I wouldn't say they did all amazing, but they did well for me. They didn't really disappoint, and I wouldn't say there was anything that was like, oh, I absolutely hate about the shoe. Everything was great, or everything was at the very least good, and I have them to this day. I actually took these on court last year and played in them as well. It's a great shoe, and if you can get your hands on it, if you can get your hands on it for a decent price, I mean, I think it's also a great looking shoe. A lot of people do wear it casually. I honestly can see why. I would rock these off court too. I just don't tend to rock any Kobe's off court. For me, they're just exclusively on court shoes. Now the 10s also come in this standard Kobe box right here. You've got the Mamba shield on the lid. You have Kobe's signature in the back, and then you do have the Kobe 10 logo up front. Box is, again, nothing special. I mean, my box is already pretty beat up and everything, but I mean, it's a box, does its job. Now, as for weight, the Kobe 10 in a size 9 weighs in at 12.9 ounces, which I would say is kind of middle of the pack when it comes to weight on size 9 shoes. And for the price, these did retail in at $180 at the time I bought them. Now, like I said, these are Kobe's, and all Kobe's are marked up on the resale market, so I don't know that there's any way you're gonna get them for $180 unless you've got some sort of plug. If you do, good for you. But on the resale market, on like StockX and Go, I believe most Kobe 10s are probably going for 300 plus, maybe 400 plus, just because of the name attached to it. Again, I wouldn't say that these are the most amazing hoop shoes ever, but in the Kobe line, these were one of my favorite ones to hoop in, and a lot of that does have to do with them being one of my very first Kobe's. Now, a lot of people also ask us where we get the socks we hoop in from. We get them from Amazon. It's no secret, and if you guys do want them, we'll have a link in our description below. If you guys have played in the Kobe 10s or any Kobe's at all whatsoever, let us know your experience down below. If there are any other shoes or Kobe specifically you'd like us to review, again, sound off below. For more content like this, please like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.